Deckard,
Huh?
you might want to take the Kenny impression down a bit.
Oh, sorry. Is that better?
Much.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's time for another Diablo update. While all of us are still waiting for the Necromancer patch, they finally hit Season 10. And as soon as that happened, I finally finished my training as a demon hunter. Mind you, I could still learn more, but I still feel confident in my abilities to teach you something about being one. Both in early and late game in Diablo, the demon hunter doesn't seem to change its strategy too much. You lay down your traps, hit enemies from afar, and use your abilities to try and dodge and move your way around the battlefield without getting too close to them. Now, a lot of people will say a demon hunter is usually meant to use a bow or a hand crossbow, but later on, you will usually find a certain set of gear that changes everything. Not so much the style of play, but the kind of weapons you use. For the demon hunter, this would be known as the Shadow's Mantle. The entire set revolves around using your impale skill. You go from using bows to throwing knives. You equip a melee weapon with the first bonus, and that increases your damage by 1,200%. Having 4 pieces in this set gives you the powers of every rune inside your Shadow Power set. It also removes the timer. You will still need to reset it before going into dungeons. This will vastly increase your defense and survivability while increasing your movement speed. And then finally, you get Impaled to do an additional 40,000% weapon damage to the first enemy it hits. Just having this set by itself will allow you to get into Torment 4 or 5 without a problem. However, you still need to think about the other pieces of equipment that synergize with this, and the abilities that you will use. Considering how powerful your Impale becomes, you do want to impale things with Ricochet. Using this rune allows it to bounce and hit multiple enemies. You're also going to want to look for the legendary quiver known as the Holy Point Shot. This legendary's ability allows you to throw 2 additional knives in a cone spread. You'll throw 3 knives on Impale, each one doing 4,000% extra damage on hit. The ricochets have a diminishing return, but the damage is still nothing to sneeze at. If you really want to maximize the damage, you'll use Envious Blade as your first Kanai's Cube ability. Hitting an enemy at 100% health has a 100% chance to crit. Now, for all the high damage, there is a downside. Just a few throws and you end up burning through your hatred very quickly. And while you are going to use your primary for your build, you are not going to be using it as the primary way to fill your resources. Now, the following weapon is essential for the build. Carly's Point allows you to get 11 hatred back whenever you hit an enemy that's already been impaled. So hitting large groups of enemies means you're going to get your hatred back without a problem. At least when you're playing in higher level games. If your enemies can't survive another impale, then you're not going to get any return. To make up for this, you're going to want to use Preparation with Punishment. This replaces filling your Discipline with Hatred. You'll generally get a 50% return for this. Otherwise, I would suggest for your primary resource builder to be Grenades. You should also select Grenade Cache, and there's a reason for this. Paired with Hellcat Waistguard, your grenades will bounce up to 5 times, doing 50% additional damage. On its final strike, no matter what the bounce, it does an additional 800% damage. This won't be your primary way of killing things, but it will make up for the difference if you need to do some damage. Now, to avoid damage, you're going to want to use Vault with Rattle and Roll, and Sentry with Polar Station. Vault will allow you to get through the crowd quickly with your Reserve of Discipline, and Sentry's Polar Station, if set up between you and your exit, will help slow enemies down from chasing you. I personally like to have Amrin's Chain equipped, that way I can drop Caltrops while using Vault. My third Kanai's Cube ability is also known as the Haunt of Voxo. Every 30 seconds, if I stun an enemy, it creates 2 shadow clones that will fight in the field with me. They don't do a lot of damage, but they're a nice distraction while I'm trying to get away and recover. And I'm not going to stand here and tell you how your passive abilities work if you've been playing this long, so I only suggest using what I have here. This should maximize your damage output and allow you to escape death in a pinch. If you're interested in eking out just a little bit more damage, Focus and Restraint are also good rings to use. And don't forget to pick the gems you feel work best for you. And if you're feeling squishy, I might suggest having the Molten Wildebeest Gizzard. Its regen will definitely help you in the long run. And the Wraps of Clarity will roughly give you a 30% defense boost for using your hatred generators. It only lasts for 5 seconds, but if you're using Focus and Restraint, you're going to continually keep using those abilities anyways for the damage output. If you take the time to read through the build in my video, you're going to have the ability to stand up to at least Torment 10 when fighting. And when doing greater rifts, you can definitely breeze through things up to level 45. Just remember to turn on your shadow powers and watch that hatred bar. Do you have any questions or comments? Please leave them in the comments section below. And as always, thanks for staying a while to listen.